Alright, so I got my part that I want to turn using PrimeTurning. So let's take a look at this. The first thing I want to do is actually show you the tools here. So if I double click a blank tile, there's two new tool types we have that are specifically for PrimeTurning. The first one's called Prime A and the second one's called Prime B. These are the only two tool types you want to use with the PrimeTurning process type. And then likewise, you also don't want to use these tools with a normal process because they're specifically made for PrimeTurning, and you don't want to ruin these tools by using them with a regular process type. So looking at Prime A, looks kind of like a triangular insert. Got these arcs kind of inward. You can actually rotate this tool within the holder and use all 3 points. So you're really getting a lot of life out of this tool. This is a tool mainly meant for finishing, with light cuts maybe. You could do some roughing, but that's what this is for. Now the Prime B is the other one, and this is more of your big rougher, taking deep cuts, your workhorse. So those are the tool types. I've actually already created the tools that I've wanted to use. The reason I have 4 here is I have a regular Prime A, a regular Prime B, and then I also have some in different orientations. I would need a special holder to do these, but it helps in a lot of cases to have your tool perpendicular to what you're cutting. So let's start off with a facing. I'm going to use this tool to face, and I bring this tool down. And under turning, we have a new process type called PrimeTurn. Again, I just want to reiterate that this is the only kind of process you want to use with these PrimeTurning tools. Okay, so I click this, and the box looks pretty similar to what you're used to. There's not a lot different. Maybe it's a little simplified in some cases. So first thing I want to point out, this is a metric example, so that's why my numbers are so high. I've got a clearance plane of 5 millimeters off the end here. For my facing operation, I want to do a finishing, and I don't want to leave any stock. So this is basically all I need to fill out on my box. Just like any other process, you want to select your geometry after you're done filling out your dialog box. So I want to start above the material and come down below the material. Now, I'm going to be drilling this later, so I don't necessarily need to waste time going all the way down. Let's do a single feature cut and hit do it. Okay, so pretty easy. Again, really, it's just like any other process that you're used to. So let's do an OD roughing operation now. I want to use tool 2 here. I'm going to drag this down. Again, PrimeTurning operation, and this will be an OD operation. And it's going to be a roughing operation. I also want to update my clearance plane here. Now for a roughing operation, when I click roughing here, it gives me a little cut depth box. It calculates a minimum cut depth and a maximum cut depth, depending on a lot of things like your tool size or the machine, the material that you're cutting, right? So I'm going to do 2, just so we're somewhere in between min and max. I'm not really pushing my machine to its limits, but I'm still taking deep cuts. On this one, I'm going to leave a 0.5 millimeter of XR stock and 1/5 of a millimeter here on the Z stock. Right. Everything else looks good. I recommend looking up some good speeds and feeds and stuff for your process type, because we don't have the auto checkbox here like we normally do. So I happen to know that this is a good speed for what we're cutting here. So I'm just going to start filling out my box here. Now, just with PrimeTurning, you can cut in either direction, right? So I want to demonstrate that that we can start on the left and move to the right, or we could do it the other way. Okay, so I want to start off there. Let's look at our start point relative to, this actually looks pretty good. I just happen to drag those to the right spot. So let's hit do it and see how this looks. right? So this is what a prime turning toolpath looks like in GibbsCAM. There's a lot of maneuvering. You see the dotted lines and stuff like that, but it's actually feeding a lot faster than it would be with a normal process. So even though there's more maneuvering, it's actually a lot faster. So the last thing I want to show is a finishing tool here. So I'm going to use my A, which is generally for finishing processes. Bring this down. Prime turn. Okay, again, OD, this time it's going to be finish. Make sure I'm not leaving any stock. And everything else looks pretty good, so let's just set up our markers again. All right, that looks good to me. So the finishing toolpaths look basically, how you would expect them to look. Right, okay, so let's take a look at this in Machine Sim. And let's hit play. Right, so pretty easy to use, pretty user-friendly. I don't expect that we'll have a lot of people with questions about prime turning. It's pretty easy. So that's all there is to prime turning in GibbsCAM 2023. I am personally very excited that we now have prime turning in GibbsCAM because of the many benefits it can bring. Better tool life, faster cycle times, and not having to deal with long chips wrapping around your part will help all of our customers save time and money. If you'd like to learn more about prime turning and what you need to use it, contact Sandvik or your local GibbsCAM reseller. I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and I'll see you in the next video.